Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. I've got so many cool things here for you guys. I've got 17 different things to run through. One of these is a book, one of these is a box set. The rest are all CDs here, but a lot of cool stuff. It's all stuff that I picked up over the past week and I love sharing it with you guys, hopefully to turn you on to some new things and or maybe to remind you about something cool you got in your own collection that you want to pull out after this. I mean, I've discovered some cool things going on this past week. In fact, the crazy thing is, no new releases for me. This is all like catalog and other back stuff that I came across and found. So a little bit of a different type of episode here, but I think you're still going to enjoy it. And we're going to get into it here in just a bit. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do comment, like, subscribe. All that stuff helps. And certainly turn on notifications so you don't miss any episodes, because I want to keep you up to date on all this cool sort of stuff like this where I'm going through these new music finds. But again, all stuff I'm hoping to turn you on to. So as I said, nothing new. Crazy, right? Next week, I should have some stuff. The 27th, we got that new Bruce Springsteen box set. I can't wait for that. So that'll be, of course, one of the big things I'll be talking about at that time. But let's dive into the stuff I do have. So now, over the last couple weeks, I was showing you stuff from Bad Reputation Records, and I discovered Jack Green, who played with T-Rex, Pretty Things, and I'm sure some other artists in there, but I never knew of the guy. I recognized this album cover, and it was sent to me. I gave it a chance, and I loved it. I fell in love with this one, and then I went out and bought that one, which was the second album, and then this one. This is the one I picked up. The third album, this one here titled Mystique. And I gotta say, as much as I love those other two, this one here really does it for me. I've been enjoying this one top to bottom. It's another Bad Reputation Records release. So you can actually head over to Bad Reputation Records and pick all of these up. I've been talking to you guys about the label. I think they're great. They do wonderful stuff, like getting these things out into print. I mean, this is an artist I would never have known of had Bad Reputation Records not put it back into print. So kudos to them, and thanks to owner Eric Hubbard for doing that. All right, another great reissue label that I talk a lot about here on the channel is Rock Candy Records. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but I did a live stream on Grant Arthur's Rock Warehouse, and that involved Pete Pardo. So Grant, myself, Pete Pardo, all talking about our favorite Rock Candy Records releases. And in that show, Pete talked about two of them that made me take note that I had never heard of, and he was actually talking about these as favorites. Like, we all have these huge collections. I have over 250 Rock Candy Records reissued albums, and so to find two of them that I didn't know anything about, but somebody else is telling me is super great, especially like Pete Pardo, because we have a lot of the same taste in music, I take notes. So I just simply ordered them. First one up, Fortress. Nothing spectacular about these guys. I don't know any of them. I don't think they went anywhere, but they put out a fantastic album that is just really good rock music that you have to say to yourself, how did this run under the radar? I don't know. Hearing this thing, I've been enjoying this one probably as much as the Jack Green. So this one here has been a very nice surprise. And then we got Randy Hansen, who apparently came to be noticed by Francis Ford Coppola. He did some guitar interlude pieces for, I believe it's the movie Apocalypse Now. I could be wrong. But he did that. He had also put together some sort of tribute show on Hendrix and wowed people with that, so he got a record deal. And he kind of leaves the Hendrix-esque sounding stuff out and really moves into his own thing. I believe the record came out in 1980, but if you like that jam style playing that Hendrix did, this is a great one to check out. And I might be wrong. I think this might be the one and only. I've not seen anything else from him. I just got these, so I haven't had a chance to dig into it. So forgive me for not having a great deal of deep information on those two artists just yet. But I was really surprised about it. I literally got them yesterday, so just diving into it. All right, so another one that I picked up was a group called Seventh Key. This is their debut album. It is self-titled. And this one here features Billy Greer, formerly of Kansas, but he was with Kansas for a very long time. I think he joined them in '87, around that time, whenever it is that they reunited and have Steve Morse on guitar. And then he stayed with the band all the way up until 2023, 2024. I think he only just retired from the group, but this was a side project that he did. So he had lots of Kansas members guesting on here. Mike Slammer, the guitar player, who doesn't get enough love from his original bands, but also the other projects he's done. But I've very much enjoyed him. He plays on all three, I believe all three. I know he plays on the next one. I believe he plays on all three of the Seventh Key albums. There's three. This is the debut. There are two more. It's the second album, and I forget its title, that I really, really love. And I've always pulled that out and gone back to it. But this one here turned out to be really, really good. So I've been enjoying that. And being on the prog sort of side of things, and my mind was over into synthwave style type stuff. And I love the keyboard stylings of like Rick Wakeman and a more obscure type person like Eric Norlander. If you don't know who he is, he's an amazing keyboard player. Check him out. But the band Eloy or Eloy, never quite get that right. I'm pretty sure it comes from like Lord of the Rings or something. But I picked up two more albums. I think this one is 1975, Power and the Passion, and Planets, which is like 79 or 80, somewhere around there. So different stylings. They were moving more into what would be considered maybe radio friendly or the pop friendly soundings. This was the beginnings of it. It sort of comes later on. I believe on the album, I think it's called Performance, sort of peaks with it around 83. But I've been going back, checking out this German band and really, really liking what they're doing. Planets is a music on CD reissue. So it sort of explains why I hadn't been able to find it up until only recently. And then Harvest, which is on the EMI label, has done some of these reissues. You get good booklets in them. They've got a write-up on them. Sometimes it's in English. Sometimes it's in, my guess is German. But it's crazy. But then there's still good pictures and everything else in it. And certainly they're a far bigger band over in Germany and probably in Europe. And I understand they never really broke here in the States. But I've really been enjoying it. I think somebody referenced it to me a year, maybe 2 years back. I don't know how long ago it has been now, when talking about keyboard music. And I went ahead and I tried some and my mind was blown. And so I've got now that those two add to the three I already had. So I've got 5 of their albums. I'm still digging into more. I'm looking for Oceans. And I just ordered, I want to say, is it Colors? I ordered that one. So I've got a couple more coming. Looking forward to that. Now, crazy enough, as big a Neil Young fan as I am, I've never explored the band Buffalo Springfield. And I was at Sound Exchange, one of my favorite record stores, with Anthony Coviello. You guys know I film my Sound Exchange sessions with him, and we talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. So I was there. I'm always hanging out. If I'm going there to film an episode, I'm going to look for stuff. So I had some time to kill as waiting for him to get ready, have a lull in terms of customers being there when we can film. So I'm always looking, and I came across this. And Neil Young just put out a brand new album last week. And the funny thing is, I did a review on it, and my take on it wasn't all that great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't all that great. And it did grow on me, and I talked about that in the review. But I have to say, over the last week, since filming that review, I actually like that album even more than when I did the review. I don't think it's ever going to be something that's going to place really high, but I just wanted to let you guys know that Talking to the Trees, Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts, that album's actually moving up for me. I'm actually enjoying it more and more. I'm feeling it. So anyways, point being, I was enjoying that, and I came across this box set that has their 3 studio albums. This does a stereo, mono, and stereo of the 3 studio albums in a cool sort of clamshell style box like this, and it replicates the LP style of the album the way that it was when it comes out. So individual sleeves and stuff. And it was used, so I got it for 20 bucks. 5 CDs for 20 bucks was great. And I just said, what the heck? I'm going to give it a go. And I'm so glad that I did because I ended up really enjoying it. And I don't know why, but in the past, I did try some of that music and it, I don't know, it just didn't click with me. I think partly because the music is really a lot of times very split between Stephen Stills and Neil Young. And I'm not the biggest Stephen Stills fan, but I am a huge Neil Young fan. So to wait for the Neil Young songs to come along was part of the reason I think I always pulled back from it, just instead getting Neil Young music. But I got that and I was enjoying that so much, I decided to get their retrospective so that I can listen to the hits and know the stuff. And then when I go back to the album, certain songs are going to start jumping out at me and I'll get those sort of peaks and valleys on it because other than their two big hits, For What It's Worth and what's the other one, Mr. Soul, there's nothing else on here that I've ever heard on the radio. And I only even know Mr. Soul through Neil Young. For What It's Worth is the one that I've heard in movies and things like that. That was their big hit. And funny thing was, it wasn't even on their debut album when it initially came out. They later reissued the album and added it because it was a hit. But at the time, it was just a single release. Okay, moving on. So another band I've talked about a couple times in past weeks was the band Glider. And this was another Bad Reputation Records release that the owner, Eric Coubard, sent me. I didn't know anything about it. He threw it in because he thought I would enjoy it. He had heard me talk about Thin Lizzy, and this band has that Thin Lizzy sound. And lo and behold, it blew me away. So what did I do? I went out and bought some more Glider. Now this one here is on the SPV label. It's not on Bad Reputation Records. I think the second album from the band was on Bad Reputation Records. It's really high priced. I haven't been able to get a hold of it. And I think they recorded 2 more for the SPV label, this being the latest album, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. And the band is still listed as being active and going, but they haven't made an album since this one. And this is 2010, so it's now been 15 years. I don't really know what's going on with the band. If one of you guys out there know, I'd love to know because why haven't they made another album? I'm really enjoying it. This moves a bit away from that Thin Lizzy sound, but I still found it to be very, very good and would highly recommend that album as well. And it was a little bit on an alternative rock kick going back. You guys saw in previous weeks that I picked up some Garbage and some offshoot stuff from lead singer Shirley Manson, her band Angel Fish. And my mind was just kind of over there. I was in Stone Temple Pilots land for a bit. And remember Scott Weiland sang for a band called Art of Anarchy. It was a very brief little thing. He did the debut album. That band has Ron Thal, Bumblefoot, who played with Guns N' Roses, though he doesn't sound anything like GNR outside of GNR. He was part of Sons of Apollo. So I was listening to all of that sort of stuff, and I decided to go ahead and pick up the second Art of Anarchy album, this one called The Madness. So Scott Weiland, not part of this, and I don't know if there's a picture on the inside of the guys. There we go. Scott Stapp of Creed. Creed being a band I don't really care for, although I'm sure at some point I will probably get into them because there's nothing wrong with it. It was just, I don't know, they never really clicked with me kind of a thing. But him singing for this was why I didn't continue with the band at the time. And yet I gave this a listen a while back and was totally surprised by how much I enjoyed the album, a streaming of it. But I couldn't bring myself to buy it because Scott Stapp of Creed was singing for them, and I've never been a fan of Creed. Though now at this point, I just said, what the heck, buy it. Just give it a listen, just have it. You're not going to regret it, and sure enough, I didn't. So I am glad to say I am enjoying this, and it just filled that void of wanting more of the debut. Even though Scott Weiland's not part of it, I am enjoying Scott Stapp. And of course, now we have Jeff Scott Soto singing for Art of Anarchy on their latest album. That wasn't available. I would have bought it if it had been at Sound Exchange. So some other time I will probably find it. And then continuing on with the Garbage thing, I picked up this called The Absolute Collection. right? I think there's Absolute Garbage, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that was the greatest hits or not, but this is the Absolute Collection. And there is another greatest hits, but it doesn't span as far as this one. So this one came out on the band's own label called Stun Volume. And also, I think this is might be like a UK only release. So the song selection on here is different. What I liked about this one is it's not chronological. They mix the songs up. There's some songs on here that wouldn't appear on the greatest hits. It takes one of the new songs from the greatest hits, it throws it on here, and it also had songs from when they reunited off of that album at the time. I don't know if it goes any further than that, but just being more comprehensive, I decided I wanted this. I also thought the album cover looked better. I don't know, it's 100 different reasons why I chose to pick this one up than the standard greatest hits from the band. But all in all, I've now got this, and I'm diving deeper back into, because remember, I grew up with them. I went and saw them live. I had their first couple albums, but I just, fell away from them, at some point, and now I'm glad to be returning. Their latest album, I can't even remember the title of it. It's kind of a weird one. It's Let All That We See Become the Light, or something like that. Let All That We Imagine Become the Light. Fantastic album. It's in my top 20 for the year. It is so good. So it's caused me to go back and re-explore these guys. So I assisted in writing this book, Sing Me Away. This is the Night Ranger album review. Tim Derling puts this together. Phil Aston, who I've had on my channel, you guys have known from Now Spinning Magazine, he writes the foreword to this. And I contribute writing about 4 different albums that are in here. A lot of fun. There's the back side of it, so you can look it up under Tim Derling. There's the guy's name, or you can probably find it under Sing Me Away as the title of the book. And, he asks questions, and a group of paneled people write about it, but it basically goes album by album, has cool information in on it. Second one that I've done now, I did one, Kansas. Let This Be Your Guide was the title of that one. I contributed to that, writing for 4 albums, and I did 4 albums in here. And as always, it's very cool that in the back, I get to have, there we go, a bio in here. And it has my channel in it and stuff like that. So I hope people will pick this up, maybe lead them over to my channel, and they will enjoy getting to know a little bit more about me and stuff. But if you're a fan of Night Ranger, man, and what Tim Derling puts together for these things, it's very cool, and I'm glad to be a part of these. They're a lot of fun, and if you like reading and you like album reviews and things of that nature, the stuff that dives really deep into the background of these albums and sometimes goes song by song and all that sort of stuff, then the books that Tim Derling puts together are like that, and would highly recommend checking this stuff out. All right, I got another sort of care package in the mail. I didn't do an unboxing of it because at the time I didn't know anything about these artists. They're all new artists, but I got 5 things from Metallic Blue Records, and these are, as I said, all newer artists, all in roughly in the vein of glam metal stuff that I like. And he said, I think you might enjoy these. Can I send these to you to see what you think? Show them, don't show them, whatever you want. And like I said, I would have done an unboxing, but I wouldn't have had much to say about this in it. So I opted instead to open separately, listen, and now be able to talk about it. So 2 of the releases are from a band called Jaywalk. This is their full-length album called Walk It Hard, and this was from the first single, Knocked Out by Your Love. And it's cool because it's got 5 tracks on it. It has an alternate edition of that song, and then it's got some acoustic and demo songs on here. So it's an EP that really supports this album, but everything that's on here is different than this, making both worthwhile. This one here I've really checked out, and these guys are a definite throwback. If you like your glam metal, you're looking for something new, this stuff is it. It's got the swagger of Stephen Pearcy of Rat and their style of music. It's got some great guitar shred style stuff on it, like Lynch from Dokken, but it's kind of a mixture of all those things. So just very, very good stuff. Jaywalk, check them out. Again, Metallic Blue Records. I also know that Eonian Records is selling their stuff, and I don't. This one is on Amazon, and the next one I'm going to talk about, not maybe they all are, but I did see this one for release this past Friday, so that popped up there. And this next one, the group is called Nemo, and it is called Emotional Metastasis. Great album art, I gotta say. Totally screams 1980s glam metal with this very attractive woman, the blonde-haired woman, the heart, the scalpel on this thing, the logo, everything about it. Very, very cool. I'm just gonna see if there's a photo of the band inside. I can't remember. Yeah, there's some shots of the guys. But just good stuff. All these guys have music videos on YouTube. That's how I checked out Jaywalk and checked out Nemo first when these were first offered up to me. But again, just really good stuff. I enjoyed this one. I think the one that I've enjoyed the most is this one though. Lost World, Between the Cracks, and a little hard to explain. Not your typical glam metal stuff. It's a little more in the rock vein of that, but good. It's really two guys. I'm sure they got support people with them, seeing if there's photos of these two guys that put this together. But interesting stuff. This one stuck with me the most. The other stuff sounded like what I would expect it to sound like. And is going to be something I think that will grow on me. But in terms of putting on an album that really caught my ear, this one here, which is Last World, was a good one. And the other one that really hit me just right, Torben. And this guy is an instrumental lead guitar player who absolutely shreds. If you love shred guitar in the hard rock, glam rock, flashy guitar styles, that's this right here. So really good. I have to say, out of everything, this is the one that really hit me just right. The album is called Seven. Let me see if I can find a picture of the guy in here. I think he kind of does obscure. Oh, there he is. This is a good one, right? Take a look at the guy. You know the guy's going to shred when he looks like that. Torben Einvoldsen. I probably did not get his name right, and I apologize greatly for that. The album itself is called Seven, and again, Metallic Blue Records. So thank you to the owner for sending these, letting me try these out, and I would definitely recommend going online, streaming all 5 of these, check them out, see if you like it, head over to their website. You can pick this stuff up. They're a great label. I've shown you cool stuff from the Eric Martin Band and other bands that they've worked with. In fact, they got some more stuff from Eric Martin coming out later down the road. I can't wait for that. When I get that stuff, there will be an unboxing on camera to show you because I'll be super excited about that. But all in all, hope you guys enjoyed all this stuff here. Let me know the cool things you picked up this past week, and certainly check some of this stuff out. You could be surprised. All right, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.